Welcome back. You're watching NewsX. My name is Vineet. The centre has turned up the heat on Meta, making it clear that an apology alone will not be enough. During a high-level meeting, government officials told Meta that its platforms must operate strictly under Indian laws, not by rules framed overseas. Sources tell NewsX that the discussions focused on content moderation practices, AI-driven algorithms, and the need for greater transparency in how content is amplified. Meta's global team has been asked to remain in India for the next few days, with another round of talks scheduled for Friday, including discussions on WhatsApp usernames. But big questions continue to hang over the tech giant. Did Meta's algorithms influence political narratives? Were certain voices artificially amplified? And will Meta disclose who funded accounts that pushed specific campaigns? The meeting also comes as India tightens its digital rule book. The government has slashed the timeline for removing unlawful content from 36 hours to 3 hours, while deep fake labeling is now mandatory. The message from New Delhi is clear: global tech giants must follow Indian law or face stricter accountability. Well, let's take a look at the discussions between Meta and the government in round two of the discussions. Now, is the second round of meeting concluded? Let's also take a look at the key questions that are emerging in this, and then, of course, we'll take this up with our guests. All right, well, what were these conversations all about in round two? Well, Meta told platform will run as per Indian laws, not on the basis of American laws, and that was the primary grouse that India had. Number two, Meta demonstrates checks and balances on algorithms as well, as to how some algorithms are considered to be favorable while others are not. Content moderation practices, algorithms were obviously discussed, and the moderation part was also taken up very seriously. Meta global team asked to stay in India for 3 to 4 days. The government is not, in fact, buying a simple apology or an explanation. They want this to be concluded properly. Friday round of discussions to focus on WhatsApp usernames as well, which has also become a big flashpoint for the government. The big questions that still remain: did Meta take money to push one-side narrative in India? Is that what happened when the CJP protests were going on? Is that what fueled that fire? Does Meta admission reveal giants' election interference in India as well? This is obviously going to create big problems for Meta. Who paid Meta money to influence narrative in India? That is also something that the Indian government is absolutely sure they want answers to. Did Meta algorithm deliberately amplify provocative posts against the government? An answer that Meta will have to give. Will Meta reveal sources of funding of accounts who who pushed certain narrative as well? Not sure if Meta is going to be comfortable with revealing these names and these details, but this is what the Indian government wants. Now, obviously, subsequent to the discussion that is likely to take on Friday, which is tomorrow, it's going to be absolutely certain as to what went down and what the Indian government expects at this point in time. Joining us on the program to talk more about this is Mr. Mukesh Chaudhary, founder and CEO of Cyberveer. Pawan Duggal, cybersecurity expert, with us on the program as well. Wing Commander S. Sudhakaran, tech expert, joins us on the show as well. And last but not the least, Advocate Khushbu Jain, cyber lawyer, is with us on the program as well. Khushbu, I'll begin with you. Well, first up, from 36 hours to 3 hours, now that's a huge change that Meta will have to, in fact, evolve into when it comes to its answerability in India. Do you think that is being fair, or, in Rome, you have to do as the Romans?
I think it's very fair, and this is something which is looking into the kind of impact Facebook or Instagram has, and the kind of crime that are committed over there. The news travels with the speed of light on these platforms. So, practically, just one example, that let's say somebody has posted a picture which is an obscene picture, a doctored obscene picture of mine on Instagram. Now, with that, if I put a complaint, and let's say those 36 hours it takes to take it down, and they even share that who has uploaded it, and those actions are taken under the due process. But the damage in those 36 hours is already done to me. Even after that, that justice is not a justice. And that's where I think this 3 hour timeline in certain cases is something which is a welcome move, and I think it is good for all of us, all the individual who are there on this platform. This is practically to protect citizen, so that the justice which is there is actually being delivered in a manner that it should have been delivered. looking into just again the part that how fast and quick we are in checking the messages, how those, people take screenshots, those messages get saved, messages, screenshots keep on getting shared. So as early as possible when it comes to taking down of this content is better. Now it's not just that part, it's also the part, situations like what we have seen in the protest. The law and order situation also calls that you need to take down certain content which might create uproar, and to manage that law and order, it is very much required. So I think if a proper due process is being followed in asking them to take down that content for that specific part, under certain criteria which have been mentioned in the law, I think it is much required, and they should not even wait. The moment they have a knowledge, I think the proactive part should have been, or maybe sooner or later we should transfer entire liability, that you do have wherewithals, you do have technology in place, you do earn a lot. 98% of your revenue practically comes from paid promotions that you put across, and India is one of the topmost when it comes to user, or when it comes to data. So I think they can invest more money. It's about the will, but they can invest money if they have the will. And I think if they don't have the will in the future, we should force upon that, let the liability be of the platform. They can no more enjoy those safe harbor protection being a being a platform in between. I'm again saying why, because in the garb of being a platform, these paid promotions are coming. And paid promotions, they cannot enjoy a safe harbor protection being a platform or an intermediary when 90% of the revenue comes as a paid promotion. There is no transparency when it comes to these paid promotions as to who has done what kind of mechanisms did you follow, when it comes to illegal content being promoted on your platform and you're earning out of it. That is no more like user like you and me have posted something illegal and an action is taken. That boat is sailed long back, when that safe harbor was given. That safe harbor protection need to be amended. There has to be a separation when it comes to revenue, where this Meta earns the revenue from paid promotions, and a basic intermediary. They are no more that intermediary.
Okay,
So I
okay.
think to have that amendments done.
Let me bring in Mr. Duggal into this conversation as well. Mr. Duggal, how is Meta likely to, wriggle out of this one? Right to privacy and that whole spiel about privacy is something that Meta has been big on. Are they going to reveal all these details? Are they going to compromise with their basic tenets, to align with the Indian government's expectations? What are your thoughts?
I think they have no choices. If they want to continue to operate in India, that's the bare minimum they'd be required to be doing. And why not? Why are we making this particular so-called concession by Meta to be a victory of India? Sorry, they are not doing any mercy to India. This is what the law wanted them to do from the very beginning. They have chosen not to do because of their might, because of their size, and because of their mistaken notion that they can take Indian law for a ride. The reality is, Indian law cannot be taken for a ride, and you have already lost your statutory exemption from legal liability. Therefore, you're liable to be sued for not just civil liability, but also for criminal prosecution. Now, what is this concession that India, Meta is making for India? Doesn't make any sense to me. If you have to operate in the biggest democracy in the world, the most populous nation in the world, what is India saying? Please just make sure you comply with Indian law. And if after so much negotiation you say, oh, as a matter of my kind gesture to you, I will now comply with Indian law, that doesn't make any sense to me. The very fact that these negotiations and these discussions are taking itself shows the dilution of the application of the provisions of law. There has to be no dialogue on this. The question is, you violated whatever the provisions of law are, have to take its logical conclusion. Yes, you can definitely be warned and said, don't do it again, because if you do it again, we'll have to prosecute you again. But to say, no, after long hour discussions, you have now agreed from 36 hours to 3 hours. Oh, that's a big favor you've done to India. Sorry, nothing like this. No, this particular argument does not cut ice. And you have to understand that. I mean, why are we making mockery of the Indian cyber law? Why are we making mockery of the Information Technology Rules 2021, which mandate you to do all these things? Why does it require a negotiation first? Why does it require an invitation from the government to Meta for you to come? Why does it require these continued negotiations? I see no logical basis. Effectively, you are doing this particular conduct is not inspiring much confidence. On the contrary, it's eroding confidence of the people in the ability of the system to take this to its logical conclusion. I think all onus has to be on the government. You have to take action. And if you don't take action, you accept SORRY as good enough. then I think you just need to put the Indian cyber law and lock stock barrel in some cupboard and throw it into the sea. You don't even require it. Now the time has come that you have to, for the first time in 50, in almost 11, 12 years, you got a documented case not just of misuse and patent arbitrary use of power, but also CSAM content being promoted. The moment you do CSAM content being publication or promotion, you are automatically no longer an intermediary because you are a publisher. Once you are a publisher, in any case, you are not entitled to the statutory exemption from legal liability under Section 79 of the IT Act. So I don't think, what are these discussions going on for? Are we here to go ahead and convince the foreign powers? No, you come to India, we are more than welcome to have you, but please ensure compliance with Indian law. This kind of a treatment doesn't get happening to an Indian service provider, nor to any Indian entity. So what is so special about Meta? I think this entire ecosystem and the entire way this process has been going on actually does not inspire much confidence and leaves much to be desired. It also waters down the strengthening position of the Indian government to lower levels because the Indian government is itself squandering away the so-called its negotiating power by continuously asking for negotiation and discussion and debate. When the operation of law gets crystal clear, we also need to be mindful that there is Section 81 of the IT Act, which says that this is a special law, and the provisions of the same shall prevail over anything inconsistent therewith, contained in any other law for the time being in force. That being so, a sorry does not find mention either under the IT Act nor under the IT Rules 2021. So even if you're going to accept the sorry, where in law can you allow the sorry to take a legal effect? That's something that the law is completely silent about. And I think we should go ahead and respect the spirit, the provisions of law as we go forward.
All right, fair enough. Mr. Mukesh Chaudhary, Meta, too big to hit or too big to miss? What's happening here? Is this something which other countries also have to deal with? I remember Australia also had big problems with Meta when it came to arbitration of their content. That's why they passed some laws, especially when it came to the usage of their platform by teenagers. Does Meta actually think that it's too big to hit?
Yes, definitely Meta thinks so because globally they apologized for CSAM content in the year 2024 and now they are especially apologizing for the same to India in 2026. So they are taking it for granted. Secondly, if you talk about the foreign countries, then I think we should learn from France what they did to the founder and founder of Telegram. They just arrested him as he landed in the country. We should do something like that because otherwise the service providers will start taking us granted only and they'll just say sorry and try to get away out of it. So strict actions are required and these kind of sorries are not accepted because when we are thankful obviously to the Prime Minister because as when he became the victim, that is why because we all are discussing this topic. And there are many users, social media users whose contents are being removed on a random basis and they are not being intimated. As per IT rules 2021, service provider is supposed to give notification in prior. They are supposed to inform the users in prior that why their content is being disabled or removed. So Meta is not compliant. Meta is not doing all the compliances. And in case of the Prime Minister also, they just simply said it was a glitch. Can you simply say that it was a glitch? You are supposed to come up with a technical detailed explanation with the root cause of the same and you have to come up with a detailed briefing over it. You can't simply say it was a technical glitch. So I think like they are taking it for granted and strong actions are required because there is no transparency from the service providers. Neither they take care of the other compliances as far as IT rules 2021 or 2026 is concerned. Service providers are supposed to reveal the source of the content which goes viral over the internet. But again, they do not cooperate in that as well to the law enforcement agencies. They simply do not cooperate in the investigation. So how the investigation agencies are supposed to investigate the case further when a content goes viral over the internet, which is creating a law and order situation or a national security threat in the country. So I think they are not coming on the table and they are not negotiating this. They think that whatever we do, we just do and like we can get away by just sitting on a table, doing some talks and that's all.
Wing Commander Sudhakaran, I know you've had some strong opinions about Meta and the way they operate. What do you have to say about these ongoing back and forth deliberations between the two parties?
See, unfortunately, I am part of one party here, and I am a bigger stakeholder in that one party, and I can't see this happening this way at least. Meta is just a company. We are a nation of 150 crore Indians, and we look helpless today. Helpless because we are let down by our policies. Dr. Pawan Dugal has already said this. We are making a mockery of Indian IT law because our IT law is made that way. And let me also tell you something, that no law can circumvent anything on the AI front. This is something that our country simply doesn't understand. We are chasing the wrong ends. Every democracy must protect two things simultaneously: the citizens' right to protest and dissent, and the nation's sovereignty. And the nation's sovereignty comes at the cost of everything, even if the people have to be the slaves. Because without a nation, the people can simply not exist. The British in 250 years took $45 trillion out of this country. Imagine me and you in today's GDP terms would have been at least 15x more richer. That is what the British did. And if today's population thinks that compromising sovereignty is nothing and everybody's individual freedom matters more, their virality on Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp matters more, then we are into serious trouble. If foreign, I do understand that the grievance was very genuine, and a genuine grievance always can exist. The NEET crisis was real. In fact, I had written a letter to the Honorable Minister for Education in 2024, and they didn't respond. And that's why they paid a price. Had they responded then, in fact, in 2026, they were talking about the same things I had written in 2024. It shouldn't take a government, at least from the Modi regime, 2 years to respond to a situation. They made it for themselves. They spread the kerosene on their clothes. It was just that, one political leader said that I just have to put a matchbox there. And that's what he did. If foreign actors exploit that grievance through AI bots, fake identities, and possible terror-linked operatives, then the issue is no longer about student protests. That's what happened in CJP protests. It becomes a question of national security. I'll quickly give you 9 points before I close down. Genuine grievance does not exclude the possibility of a foreign exploitation. That we as a country need to understand. We should not confuse between these two issues. Both can be true simultaneously. Students were genuinely angry, the paper leaks were real, and the emotional distress was real. And yes, some students did commit suicide. But hostile actors often exploit genuine public anger. Imagine if your father needs to be fixed by a neighbor, what he will do is he will make use of the vulnerable you. Make you go against that very home which fed you and grew you up. That is exactly what CJP is being made to use against India, and India better gets this right. Point number 2, the battlefield of today has changed. The modern wars rarely begin with tanks. Today's conflicts use algorithms, deepfakes, AI-generated videos, social media manipulation, and narrative engineering. The objective is manufacture outrage faster than governments can restrain. Point number 3, 500 social media profiles have come under scrutiny only in Maharashtra. The Maharashtra Cyber Police has unearthed it. 429 objectionable posts have been identified out of it.
Right. Okay. Please conclude your point. We have to wrap up. Yeah. Please conclude your point. We have to wrap up.
Right. So this is where Meta has made use of its platform. It has exploited the emotional vulnerability of Gen Z and Gen Alpha. At the end of the day, they are my brothers and sisters. They belong to this country. They are future of this country. But they were exploited. And they were exploited by cockroaches. We need to be clear about it, and we need to protect ourselves.
Okay,
how can we do it?
All right.
We need to build our
Fair enough. We've run out of time, but I appreciate your passion and the time everybody spent